Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo Flying Insect Trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo Flying Insect Trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
Glastonbury Festival has come under fire after a slew of artists were hit with technical problems that left them sounding awful. Roughly 210,000 revelers descended on Somerset's Worthy Farm for the weekend, while millions were expected to tune in from home thanks to the BBC's rolling coverage. However, music lovers were left disappointed this year as several artists struggled with technical issues that left the sound seeming distorted. On top of this, artists including Camila Cabello, Dua Lipa, and Coldplay have been called out for allegedly miming. Now there's been frenzied guessing game as to who is to blame for the issues, with questions raised as to whether Glastonbury Festival's technical team is at fault or the BBC for the broadcast. Taking to X, formerly Twitter, fans penned, "Why is the sound so awful on every single bit of Glastonbury that I've watched, apart from the Sugababes? Is it bad there? Or is it the TV/BBC mics/sound? Glastonbury is one of the biggest music festivals in the world, yet their sound engineers can't seem to get much right this year. Bad mics, in-ear monitor situations, drowned out vocals. Or is this just the TV coverage from the BBC?" After watching the #BBC #Glastonbury 2024 footage over the weekend, the most important conclusion is that the sound quality wasn't very good across the board, and truly awful in some cases. Question is, was it that bad on site as well, or was this just a TV thing? While this year's festival seemed to be particularly bad, Glastonbury is no stranger to sound issues. Last year, headliners Guns N' Roses' set was impacted, with viewers claiming they couldn't hear singer Axl Rose. In turn, the band claimed the BBC was to blame, with a statement from their agency revealing they had dug deep into the problem and discovered there were problems with the broadcast being streamed on certain TVs, resulting in poor sound quality. Meanwhile, music experts have suggested that poor sound quality at the festival could be the result of using backing tracks. Becky Pell, a sound engineer from Oxfordshire who is on tour with Take That, told the Sunday Times that a vast majority of pop artists sing live, but that it was not practical to have the 16 musicians which would appear on a recorded track, performing on stage. Another sound engineer who has toured with Blondie claimed to achieve the same effect. Stars use extra guitarists or an orchestra on a backing track to thicken the sound out, helping to replicate the recorded version of the song. Vocals may be added too, but these will be in addition to live singing, not instead of. On studio-recorded albums, artists often sing multiple parts or layer their voice, something that can't be replicated live. Some artists prefer to go without the heavily regimented use of the tracks, which they claim take the spontaneity and thrill out of a live performance. They don't use tacks used to help them keep the tempo, known as click tracks, and instead want to let the music breathe, according to one 66-year-old guitarist who has performed live with David Bowie and Iggy Pop. But going without any backing track can be a big gamble, resulting in a patchier sound and less consistency. Live music fans who have been listening for decades have noticed the improvements. When Live Aid was held at Wembley in 1985, the sound quality to the crowd of 72,000 varied extensively between bands. One of the most striking examples was Duran Duran's Simon Le Bon, who painfully failed on a high note in a rendition of A View to a Kill. A music fan described the difference in listening to live music between the two eras as like comparing a cassette tape to Spotify. So who was affected by the sound issues this year? Dua Lipa was the first to be accused of lip-syncing by those watching coverage of the festival on the BBC on Friday night. One watcher wrote on X, "Imagine paying all that money to go Glastonbury to stand there and watch Dua Lipa mime the song and not even sing it. How bad." Another wrote online, "Dua Lipa delivering a top of the pops mime set." A third said, "Dua Lipa has some decent catchy tunes, but I'm fairly sure she's lip-syncing. Sounds like a live vocal, but just not convinced she's singing it live, right now." However, she set the record straight after her set and insisted miming is not something she ever does. ID.